Hello, so today this is the first of our new webinar series. So Together for Short Lives, Together We Learn. And today we have Amelia and Holly from Deborah to talk about EB and supporting families. Thank you very much for being here, and I will hand over to yourselves to introduce yourself and then to do your presentation.
Lovely. Shall I go first? I'll introduce myself first. So I'm Holly Roberts. I have been working here at Deborah in the community support team for the last 3 years. And yes, we're here today to present our presentation about hospice care and EB.
And hello, I'm Amelia Goddard. I'm a member of the community support team here at Deborah. I've worked here 6 years, and Holly and I are working on this project to raise awareness of EB amongst hospices and to raise awareness of hospices amongst patients with EB.
So I will crack on with the presentation and hope that everybody can see it. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
Lovely. So welcome to our presentation, or welcome to our webinar on epidermolysis bullosa and palliative care. My colleague Amelia and I are from the community support team at Deborah UK, which is the national charity supporting people with epidermolysis bullosa, or EB, which is frequently described as the worst condition you've never heard of. We are here to tell you about EB and the impact that it has on those that live with it, their families, and how hospices can support and how hospices could help to support them. Our charity objectives are to support today and tomorrow. In supporting today, we aim to relieve physical and mental illness and distress among those suffering from EB. In supporting tomorrow, we will promote research for the benefit of the public into the causes, nature, treatment and cure of epidermolysis bullosa and other related medical conditions, and publish the results of this research. As a charity, we have a vision and a mission. These are simple. Our vision is a world where no one suffers from EB, and our mission is to provide lifelong care while seeking cures for those affected and impacted by living with EB. We also have a set of values at the heart of the work that we do, which include making a difference, commitment, and passion. Sadly, there are some types of EB that are life-limiting and life-threatening. Children born with junctional epidermolysis bullosa severe usually die before their second birthday. Sufferers of recessive dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa generalized severe live with chronic pain, limited mobility, and very high care needs to manage their constant wounds. Sufferers of EB are at very high risk of infection and cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, a very rare skin cancer. EB is the name given to a group of genetically different diseases. Within it, there are more than 30 different subtypes. Blisters and wounds occur and can range from mild to severe. It not only affects the external skin, but for some subtypes, the internal mucous membranes are also impacted. At this stage, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Amelia.
Thank you. So the symptoms of EB, it classically presents itself as skin wounds that are painful in their own right, but often become infected, heal poorly, and lead to frequent scarring. This combination makes skin and wound pain a prominent complaint of a patient with epidermolysis bullosa. EB can have a significant impact on mobility due to the pain and scarring as the skin heals. Patients with recessive dystrophic EB often suffer from mitting deformity to their fingers and toes as the skin heals over. In 2023, Deborah carried out an insight study, and this showed that 68% of those who participated said itch impacts them significantly, and they describe it as chronic. And of course, this cannot be resolved with such fragile skin. EB cancers are the leading cause of death in patients with recessive dystrophic EB, particularly the severe generalized form. Cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma tends to arise at sites of chronic skin blistering, wounds and scarring, and multiple primary tumours often occur. They generally behave more aggressively than with conventional SCCs, and they carry a very significant morbidity and mortality rate for those affected. The fragility also extends to the lining of the mouth and the esophagus, which can cause problems with eating, swallowing, and breathing. Dilation is necessary for severe strictures. Eyes can blister, leaving children with frequent corneal abrasions, often unable to open their eyes for weeks at a time. And these abrasions can have a long-term impact on sight. EB patients are often anemic due to the constant healing and require additional protein and calories to counteract this. They'll often be under the care of a specialist dietitian. Constipation is a common problem with all types of EB, often resulting from blistering and soreness around the bottom, and this can be further compounded by side effects from pain medicines. Along with the extensive list of physical symptoms, there's also a huge psychological impact. Pain is present for most children and adults with EB. Activity-related pain can significantly affect the psychosocial well-being, and quality of adequate holistic pain management is essential as a focus for helping people with EB. Caring for someone can be very isolating, worrying, and stressful. The nature of this condition means the sufferer will be solely reliant on their parents to carry out the daily dressing changes, which can sometimes take up to 5 hours per day. The level of trust and experience required for this role means patients are reluctant to allow someone else to do it. The pressure is then implied upon the parent, who is unable to seek any respite. And this, of course, can have a negative impact both emotionally and physically on the health of the carer. Parent could suffer immense psychological stress from the fact that they have to inflict pain on their child in order to manage this condition. And this is why it's really important to provide early, extensive, and long-term support to family members to enable them to cope. We all know that the hospice service can play a significant role in this support, but there are barriers to accessing such a service. Sometimes the condition is not always straightforward to meet hospice criteria. A family we recently supported had an initial response of absolutely not when we suggested a referral to the hospice. But within a matter of weeks, the hospice had engaged with the family, and they are now talking very highly of the support that they're receiving from that hospice. As with many health conditions, there are barriers. And in particular, living with such a rare condition, this restricts the amount of support people reach out for due to the constant need to explain and educate about the condition. Accessing general services from social care to education support is vastly reduced despite the need for it. We see the role of a hospice to be incredibly beneficial for these families. A welcoming place with highly skilled carers and nurses who can offer support to people living with EB will make a huge difference. This really is the reason for speaking to you today and our ongoing efforts to raise awareness of EB and awareness of hospices amongst our members. I'd like to now introduce you to Grace, who created this video for us to help explain EB to others, and it's something we often use in schools to help explain the condition to teaching staff and peers.
Hi, my name is Grace and I have EB. If you have EB, you probably are well aware of the struggle that it takes to live every day with EB. But if you are someone who does not have EB, allow me to educate you. EB can cause incredibly sore skin, and there is nothing we can do to control that. No amount of ointments or creams or bandages are going to fix the genetic issue, and they just keep coming back and back and back. Anytime we fix something, a new one appears. If you know someone with EB, trust me when I tell you, they are a warrior. If you think you've heard them upset or in pain, trust me, they are in pain or upset 10 times more than they are letting on. So they are probably really struggling if you hear them upset or in pain. It takes so much effort just to do basic tasks like get up and walk around. So the fact that you have the pleasure of getting to know them is so incredible. EB feels like you are being set fire to. If you can imagine that, it's not nice. And currently, there is no cure for it. But people like the person that you know and me and the people I know do so much to make sure we get to live every day to the fullest, the same way that you get to. And that is pretty cool. So, just keep in mind the next time you're talking to your pal who has EB, what they are going through, and treat them with kindness like I know you would treat anybody else, and some empathy. Try to understand what they're going through and how impressive it is that they are able to do anything. So, give them some patience.
We estimate that there are 175 children in the UK who may meet the hospice criteria, but there are only 14 that we're aware of that have used hospice services in the last 5 years. The guidelines for the provision of palliative and end-of-life care for people living with EB state that, considering the incurable and potentially life-limiting nature of the condition and the challenges posed by its symptoms, a palliative approach to EB-related care is necessary. We have another video to share with you now that 2 parents have made to show the care that goes into looking after their child with EB.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Callum, Albie's dad. We are very grateful for each and every one of you here tonight, supporting not only Albie, but everyone living with EB. Many of you know Albie as a cheeky little boy that is always happy and smiling. However, things can be very different behind closed doors. Albie was born with severe recessive dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa. This particular type of EB is very rare, only affecting 1 in 3.3 million people. Albie has to undergo daily dressing changes, which can be very painful and distressing. His EB also affects him internally. He is fed via a gastrostomy tube, as blisters in his mouth and esophagus make it too painful to eat. The next video is a small insight into Albie's daily dressing change.
Deborah can see how hospice involvement can really help and support these families, to offer a gentle introduction to having help with dressing changes, benefiting from their hugely skilled nursing teams and the resources and equipment available in hospice, such as large baths and hydrotherapy pools, which may provide much needed comfort to a patient living with EB, as well as support with pain management and holistic support therapies, which may be accessible to the family. Respite at a hospice can also provide an opportunity for individuals to have independence and/or new life experiences, widen their circle of friends, and broaden their peer support. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar. Please see our website for further information and don't hesitate to get in contact with us to continue this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you, for such an insightful presentation that I think will make lots of people really think about the services they're able to and the support they're able to offer these families. Thank you very much. If people are interested in attending further webinars, please look at the Together Short Lives website, where more information can be found for our monthly webinar series.